Before we get into today's truth shot, this episode is brought to you by Destiny is by Choice Support Services. Now, let me ask you something. What happens when you finally start getting the things you prayed for, but you realize maintaining them requires a version of you that you haven't fully become yet? Because nobody really talks about the part we talk about praying for the opportunity, praying for the business, praying for the relationship, praying for the house, praying for the career, praying for the platform and the degree. Maybe even financial stability, peace, open doors, whatever. But what happens when the door finally opens and you realize you still have to get up and walk through it? That's the truth I've been sitting with lately. The life you prayed for still requires discipline. And I think sometimes we get so focused on asking God to change our circumstances that we forget that sometimes the next level requires us to change our habits. Because you can pray for the opportunity and still procrastinate. You can pray for the financial stability and still have terrible spending habits. You can pray for a healthy relationship and still refuse to communicate. You can pray for peace and keep giving everybody access to you. You can even pray for a successful business and refuse to be consistent. You can pray for the degree but still have to study. You can still pray for growth, but you still have to do the uncomfortable things that growth requires. Prayer can open the door, but discipline determines what you do once you get inside. And listen, I'm not saying this from some mountaintop like I've mastered discipline, because I absolutely have not. I'm talking to myself too, because there are days when I don't feel like doing what needs to be done. There are days when I'm tired. There are days when I would rather scroll or sleep or say, I'll do it tomorrow. There are days when motivation is nowhere to be found. And that's when I've had to learn the difference between being motivated and being disciplined. Motivation says I'll do it when I feel inspired. Discipline says I told myself I was going to do it, so I'm going to do it whether I feel inspired or not. That's different because motivation feels good, but discipline doesn't always feel that good. Sometimes discipline looks boring. It looks like going to bed instead of staying up all night, or saying no when you really want to say yes. It looks like saving money instead of spending it, or sitting down and doing the work when nobody is clapping for you. Sometimes discipline is sending the email, making the call, going to class, showing up to work, or going to therapy. Keeping the appointment, working on your recovery, keeping the boundary, turning the phone off, doing what you said you were going to do again and again and again, even when nobody sees it. And I think this is where some of us get frustrated because we prayed, God answered, and now we're overwhelmed by the answer. So think about that. You prayed for responsibility. Now you're frustrated because everybody needs something from you. You prayed for the business. Now you're frustrated because there are emails, paperwork, deadlines, marketing, invoices, meetings, and responsibilities. You prayed to go back to school. Now you're looking at the syllabus like, Lord, I know I said I wanted this degree, but. And you may have prayed for the platform. Now you have to consistently create. You prayed for people to recognize your work. Now people are watching how you work. You even prayed for the growth. Now your old habits don't fit your new life. That doesn't mean the blessing is wrong. It means the blessing requires stewardship. And stewardship requires discipline. Here's something else I've had to learn. You can't ask for a new life while protecting every old habit. Something has to change. You can't keep doing everything the same way and expect your life to suddenly produce different results. At some point, you have to ask yourself, what does the life I'm praying for require from me? Not just what do I want, but who do I need to become to handle what I'm asking for? Because maybe you're not waiting on the next opportunity. Maybe you're building the habits that will allow you to sustain it. Maybe this season isn't punishment. Maybe it's preparation. Maybe you're learning how to manage your time now because where you're going will require it. Maybe you're learning boundaries now because where you're going, everybody can't come with you. And maybe you're learning how to manage money now because you've been praying for more of it. You're maybe also learning consistency now because the opportunity you're asking for cannot survive inconsistency. Or maybe you're learning how to rest because burnout cannot be the price you continuously pay for success. And let me say something about discipline that I had to learn the hard way. Discipline is not punishing yourself. Discipline is not running yourself into the ground. Discipline is not never taking a break. And it's not working until you have nothing left. Sometimes discipline is actually showing when to stop. Sometimes the discipline decision is, I'm going home. I need to rest. I can't take on another responsibility. I don't have the capacity for that. I need help. I need to reorganize my priorities. Because if your definition of success requires you to destroy yourself to maintain it, we need to redefine success. The goal isn't just to build a life that looks good. The goal is to have a life I can actually live in. I don't want everything I prayed for and to be too exhausted to enjoy any of it. But at the same time, we have to stop calling everything rest when sometimes we're really avoiding responsibility. Yeah, I did say it. Because sometimes you don't need another break, you need to get up. Sometimes you're not burnt out, you've been procrastinating. Sometimes you're not waiting on the right moment, you're just scared. And I'm not judging, friend. I'm right here with you. Because sometimes you don't need another motivational video. You need to do the thing you already know you're supposed to do. And there is a difference between giving yourself grace and constantly giving yourself excuses. Stay with me. Grace says, I had a hard day. I'm going to regroup and try again tomorrow. Excuses say, I'll start Monday. Then Monday becomes next month becomes next year, and now you're praying about something you haven't put any action behind. Faith and discipline can exist together. Prayer and planning can exist together. Trusting God and setting an alarm can exist together. You can pray over your finances and make a budget. You can pray over your health and make healthier choices. You can pray over your future and prepare for it. You can ask God to order your steps and still have to move your feet. Because faith was never supposed to make us passive. And maybe somebody watching this or listening needs to hear this today, because you keep saying, when things calm down, I'll start. When I have more money, I'll start. When I feel better, I'll start. When I have more time, I'll start. When somebody helps me, I'll start. When everything lines up perfectly, I'll start. But what if everything isn't going to line up first? What if discipline is learning how to start with what you have? Start messy, start tired, start scared, start small, but start. And then show up again tomorrow. Because the life you want probably won't be built by one huge decision. It's going to be built through hundreds of small ones. The decision to get up, the decision to keep going, the decision to say no, the decision to save, the decision to study, to heal, to apologize, to set the boundary, to stop going back to what keeps breaking you, to try again. Those Little decisions don't always feel life-changing in the moment, but stack enough of them things together and child, eventually you look around and realize your life has changed. And this is why I believe discipline is really about keeping promises to yourself, because every time you tell yourself, I'm going to do this, and you follow through, you build trust with yourself. You start believing yourself again. You start realizing if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to at least give myself a real chance. Not perfectly, not every single day, but consistently. And please hear me. Consistency does not mean perfection. This is for all my perfectionists. You are going to mess up. You're going to have days where the schedule falls apart. I miss getting the episode out. I'm paying for it now. You're going to have days when you make the wrong decision, days when you procrastinate, days when you spend money you shouldn't have spent, or when you don't get everything done. That doesn't mean you throw the whole plan away. One bad day does not require a bad month. One mistake does not require you to abandon the goal. Get back up, adjust, learn, and keep moving. Because maybe the next version of you isn't going to be created through some dramatic breakthrough. Maybe it's going to happen quietly. One moment at a time. One boundary at a time. One assignment at a time. One uncomfortable decision at a time. One prayer at a time. One disciplined choice at a time. One day at a time. And then one day you'll realize you're standing in something you used to pray about. And instead of asking, God, when is this going to happen? You're saying, God, I thank you for trusting me with it. So listen, friend, my challenge to you is to look at the life you've been praying for. And I want you to really look at it. And I want you to ask yourself, what habits does that life require? What needs to change? What needs to stop? What needs to start? Where do you need more structure? Or where do you need more boundaries? Where do you need more consistency? Where do you need to stop making excuses? And where do you need to give yourself some grace? Because you don't have to change everything tonight. Pick one thing, one habit, one commitment, one promise to yourself, and start there. Because your prayers matter, your dreams matter, your goals matter, but eventually your actions have to agree with what you say you want. You prayed for the opportunity, now prepare for it. You prayed for growth, participate in it. You prayed for change, make different choices. You prayed for the life, now develop the discipline to live it. The life you prayed for may already be in unfolding, but the question is, are your habits ready for what you asked for? Don't let a lack of discipline make you abandon something you once begged God to give you. You don't have to become perfect. You just have to become intentional. So keep praying, keep believing, but also keep showing up and doing the work, choosing differently, and keep becoming the person who can responsibly carry the life you once could only imagine. Because the blessing is one thing. Being prepared to carry it is another. So again, this is all love, and I want you to remember your destiny is by choice, not by chance. And until next time, keep walking in your truth. Bye.